Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving us sweet association. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glory to Srila Prabhupada. This is Neetu from Baltimore.
Hare Krishna, Neetu Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your association. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and Shri Guru and Gauranga and all the assembled devotees. Yashomati from Chicago.
Hare Krishna, Yeshumati Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your association. Welcome to the call.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Please accept my humble obeisances. Myself, Preeti Mukashi from Pune, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to call, Mataji. This is the first time you are joining in, Mataji.
No, Mataji, I used to join previously, but because of my son's exams, I in between discontinued.
Welcome back, Mataji. Please do join us every day. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Mataji. Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Is there
Krishna,
any question?
Vrinda's mother. Dandavat Pranam to you and all Vaishnava. Srila Prabhupada Sri Gurudev ki jai. Vrinda Gandharvi Mataji ki jai.
Hare Krishna, Vrinda Gopika Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your association. Welcome to the call, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Vrinda Gandharvi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Guru Maharaj ki jai, Kirtida Dasi from Charlotte. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Preeti Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Hari Bol. So we will start the recording here. Is there anybody who would like to introduce? Go ahead.
Hare Krishna Mataji, all glories to Srila Prabhupada and Guru Maharaj. Please accept my humble obeisance to you and all Zoom devotees who gathered today. I am Charana Lakshmi from Malaysia. Thank you very much and Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Charana Lakshmi Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining us every day. Welcome to the call. Yeah, I will start the recording here.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. This is Anita Ramya from Sharjah.
Hare Krishna, Anita Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Welcome to the call, Mataji. Thank you so much for joining every single day. All glories to your services. We'll start the recording here. Hare Krishna, everyone. Welcome to Bhakti Sangha Japa conference call. I would like to read today's Srila Prabhupada quote before we start in. Give me a minute. Just share the screen so everybody will know. Yeah. 11th April. If they insist on touching your feet and there is no other way to avoid it, you can simply remember your predecessor acharyas and spiritual masters and accept them and return namaskar with folded hands. That is a Vaishnava etiquette. Letter to Achyutananda, April 11th, 1970. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So today we are very fortunate to have Her Grace Kirtida Mataji to enlighten us on the topic of Caitanya Bhagavta Adi Khanda, chapter 17, 140-146 verses. Hare Krishna Mataji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for joining and giving your valuable time and association this morning and enlightening us on the topic of Caitanya Bhagavta. We are very fortunate to have you again on the call, Mataji. Please take over, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Vinita Gandharvika Mataji. Thank you so much for your very, very kind and warm welcome. Hare Krishna devotees, thank you all so much for joining, for sharing your valuable time. Really, really grateful to each and every one of you. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. So let's start. Without further ado, let's start with our invocation prayers and then we'll go into our Caitanya Bhagavta. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurum Vaishnavamscha Shirupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Harijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Shri Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Panchatattvatakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Sarupakam Bhaktavtaram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarine Vancha Kalpa Tarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Guruve Gaura Chandrai Radhikaye Tadalai Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktai Tad Bhaktai Namo Namaha Anandalila Vigrahaya Hema Padivya Chavi Sundaraya Tasmai Mahaprema Rasa Pradaya Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Chaitanya Chandraya Namo Namaste Ajanulambita bhujau kanakavadhatau Sankirtanaicapitarau kamalayatakshav Vishvambarau Dvijavarau Yugadharmapalau Vande Jagadguru Priya Karunavatarau Jayati Jayati Deva Krishna Chaitanya Chandra Jayati Jayati Kirti Stasya Nitya Pavitra Jayati Jayati Bhritya Stasya Vishveshvamurter Jayati Jayati Nrityam Tasya Sarva Priyanam Mukam karoti vācālam bhangam langāyate giram yat kripahatamaham vande Shri Guru Dīnatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Ishwaram Jaya Jaya Shri Chaitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jayo Jayo Shri Chaitanya Jayo Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jayo Jayo Shri Chaitanya Jayo Nityananda Jaya Dvaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, dear devotees, thank you all so much for your wonderful, kind association. I'm really feeling grateful to each and every one of you for sharing your valuable time. Really request each and every one of you to please shower your heartfelt prayers, blessings, and wishes so that I can speak something relevant to this subject matter in glorification of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, his name, pastimes, his form, and in purification of my own self. Vanchakalpatarubhascha kripa sindhu bhayevacha patitanam bhavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna. So I know you all can unmute yourself, and I also do have the eligibility, liberty to mute you all, but I won't. But I request each and every one of you that if some questions comes up, please maintain a decorum, raise your hands, and then we can take up. So I'm not muting any one of you. Don't write in your chat box also. I'm not disabling the chat, but maintain that decorum to raise your hand and do not write in the chat box. So we are in our Caitanya Bhagavta, Adi Khanda, chapter number 17. And we are about almost to the end of this chapter, where where Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying that I have ended Adi Khanda and now I will start the Madhya Khanda. That is the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, where he, from that naughty Nimai, from Nimai Pandit, he became Bhavak Nimai or Rasik Nimai. So I'll request, now you can raise your hands. My first question is that yesterday in the class, we saw that there were 3 attempts when Mahaprabhu wants to go to Vrindavan, but he didn't go. So we saw that how Mahaprabhu, he got the 10-syllable mantra, the Gopal mantra from his spiritual master, Srila Ishvara Puripad. And day and night, Ahirnisha, he was chanting that mantra. And because of the effect of that mantra, he became into Rasik Nimai. He started developing the symptoms of ecstasy in Krishna Prem. So after that, he was not able to stop himself in Gaya. And he told all his schoolmates, classmates, the students that are accompanying Mahaprabhu, that you all go to Gaya and I want to renounce my material life and I want to go to Vrindavan. So he decided to go to Vrindavan. Now, this time when he decided to go to Vrindavan, what was the reason that he was not able to go to Vrindavan? Kindly raise your hands. Okay. Yes, Indulekha Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. So this time there was a voice from the sky that forbade him from going now to Vrindavan.
Yes, that was the sky. And also follow up from you only. You tell me that who spoke, whose voice it was.
Indra, I don't know, it was a demigod, I thought.
Yes. Yeah. Shri Vrindavan Das Thakur mentions that it was the voice of demigods that stopped Mahaprabhu to go to Vrindavan. Yes, very true. Now, my another question is, where was, after that it was mentioned that Mahaprabhu came back to his home. So what does it mean? Where Mahaprabhu came back? Did he came back to Navadvip Dham or did he came back to Gaya itself? Please raise your hands. Yes, I thought you all were attentive in yesterday's session. Yes, Sukhakar Prabhu, please.
To Navadvip Dham?
No, Mahaprabhu didn't go back to Navadvip Dham. So Mahaprabhu, thank you for your attempt. Yes, Anita Ramya Mataji.
So Mataji, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted to stay in Gaya because he was feeling the ecstasy of thinking of Krishna Prem. So that's why he didn't want to go to Navadvip when he was called by his associates. So that's what I remember from yesterday's class, Mataji.
Thank you, Anita Mataji. But my question was that after Mahaprabhu was stopped by the demigods not to go to Vrindavan, later the time will come, then you can go. After that, where did Mahaprabhu go? Did he go back to Navadvip Dham or did he came back to Gaya itself, from where he started his journey to Vrindavan? So that was my question.
I'm not sure, Mataji. Maybe Gaya.
Yes. Yeah.
My guess only. I'm sorry.
He came back to the home, the same home where he fed Ishvara Puri and he cooked prasadam for him. The same place he came back. He came back to Gaya. And then he stayed in Gaya for a few more days. And then there he started developing the further symptoms of Vipralamba Bhav, the further symptoms of ecstasies in Krishna Prem. So yesterday, Preeti Vilasni Mataji discussed so nicely that how sometimes Mahaprabhu was crying for separation for Krishna in the mood of Vatsalya Bhav, sometimes in Dasya Bhav, and sometimes he'll cry in Madhurya Bhav, calling out, Kaha Mora Prananatha, Kaha Murali Vadana, Kaha Karu, Kaha Pau, Vrajendra Nandan. Sometimes in the mood of gopis, in the mood of Srimati Radharani, in that Madhurya Bhav, he would cry out. So this way he was developing the symptoms of ecstasy, symptoms of separation from Shri Krishna. Actually, that was the external reason for which Mahaprabhu came. What was it? That he wants to inundate this entire world with Krishna Prem. We are not interested in going to Krishna. We are not interested in seeing Krishna. Even the Shasan saw, even Duryodhan saw, even Hiranyakashipu saw, everybody, they saw Krishna, but their heart was not transformed. Why? Because they were not indulged in prem, in love for Lord Shri Krishna. So here, we are interested in the service of Krishna. We want to serve Krishna to the best of our capabilities. And that can be done through our chanting. When we chant Krishna's name, when we chant wholeheartedly, we do Shravanam, we do Kirtanam of Krishna's name, his form, his glories, his pastimes. Through that, we serve Krishna. And when we serve Krishna, then we get the adhikar to do some kind of devotional service, to get that bhakti, to do devotional service. We get that adhikar. Right? So we will move on to our today's verses. I'll share my screen. This is Sri Vrindavan Das Thakur's Caitanya Bhagavta. And now we are in text number 140. So see, this is the reference. Text 139 says, the Lord returned to his room in Gaya and then took his servants back to Navadvip, where he revealed the devotional service of Krishna. So Mahaprabhu, after hearing the voice from the sky, he was satisfied and he stopped his journey. But then when he stopped his journey, he came back to his room in Gaya only. But after that, developing those symptoms of ecstasies in Gaya, then Mahaprabhu decided to go back to Navadvip, where he revealed the devotional service of Lord Shri Krishna. And this is the reason, one of the external reasons why Mahaprabhu came, to inundate this entire world with Krishna Prem. Text 140, which is today's verse, we'll see. Navadvipe Gaura Chandra Karila Vijaya Dina Dina Bade Prema Bhaktira Udaya. So after Lord Gaurachandra arrived in Navadvip, staying for a few more days in Gaya, then he came back to Navadvip, his loving sentiments began to increase day by day. So our Bhavuk Nimai is in full swing now. He has completed his Adi Leela pastimes and now he's about to jump into his Madhya Leela pastimes. So Adi Leela is when Mahaprabhu was doing his childhood pastimes, his Kaishori Leela pastimes, when he was preaching to his students, teaching them Sanskrit grammar, going to Gaya, till that time, taking initiation from Ishwarapuri path. That is the Adi Leela pastimes or Adi Khanda pastimes. But then Mahaprabhu developed those symptoms of Krishna Prem. And not only he himself is tasting that Vatsalya Ras, that Madhurya Ras, that Sakhya Ras, but he's also inundating the entire world into these rasas, giving everyone and all, whomsoever he meets, he's just freely distributing. He is telling everybody, come and plunder this treasure for which I have come. And I am here to give you Krishna Prem. So from there till his sannyas pastimes, till the time he took sannyas is the Madhya Khanda. And after that, from sannyas begins his Antya Khanda. Actually, not exactly, because after taking sannyas also, Mahaprabhu traveled to various places like South India. He went to Vrindavan. He went to various places, Varanasi. But then when Mahaprabhu came back and settled in Jagannath Puri, and those 18 years of Mahaprabhu are regarded as the Antya Khanda or the Antya Leela. So now is the start of Madhya Khanda. So here also, our Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying, Adi Khanda Katha Pari Purna E Haite Madhya Khanda Katha Eba Shuna Bhalamate. That the topics of Adi Khanda has just completed. Our Nimai has developed the symptoms of prem, separation from Krishna, that Vipralamba Bhav. He has become a Bhavuk Nimai. So now please hear the topics of Madhya Khanda. So till now he was describing, he stopped here and he said, from here onwards, the Madhya Khanda will begin. But before officially starting Madhya Khanda, he wants to glorify Mahaprabhu. He wants to glorify Chaitanya Leela. He wants to glorify his own spiritual master, Nityananda Prabhu, with whose inspiration he was able to describe all the narrations of Adi Khanda. So he says, Yeya Sunishwara Gaya Vijaya Gaura Chandra Prabhu Tare Mili Bahridaya. One who hears about the Lord's visit to Gaya will see Lord Gaurachandra in his heart. So he's giving the Falashruti that those who will hear these topics of Gaurasundar visiting Gaya, offering oblations to his forefathers and taking initiations from Ishwarapuri and developing the symptoms of various rasa in separation from Krishna, one who hears these topics with faith, with Shraddha, they will see Gaurachandra in their heart. Means Gaurachandra will manifest in the heart of those devotees. Spuratu vah Shri Sachinandana. Sada Hridaye Kandare va Shri Sachinandana. Just like Rupa Goswami says, that in those who immerse themselves in Chaitanya Leela, those who focus on the forms, the qualities, the sweet pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu will always manifest in the heart, in the caves of the heart of those devotees. So we'll read the purport. By His Divine Grace, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who is the revered spiritual master of our Divine Grace, founder Acharya, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. Shri Gaurasundar will appear in the heart of one who hears his pastimes of developing Gaya Tirtha in order to set an ideal example for our prospective spiritualists at Gaya. Gaurasundar primarily enacted the pastime of taking shelter at the lotus feet of his spiritual master, receiving his mercy, and thus inaugurating the pastimes of distributing love and devotion to everyone. Therefore, by hearing Gaurasundar's pastime of visiting Gaya, the propensities for both sinful and pious activities will be completely eradicated. Now, my question to all of you, why he says that even the sinful, forget about sinful, yes, but even the pious activities will also be eradicated if we dive deep into the Gaurasundar pastimes. Why he says so? Maybe you all raise your hands. Yes, Parima Mataji, please go ahead.
Mataji, from what I have understood, Mataji, pious credits also are in the mode of goodness, but they will still bring you back in this material world. But the activities that are surrendered, that are done for Krishna, for devotional service, they will not bring you back into the material world. Very nice, Parima Mataji. Very nice. Thank you so much. So he says that just by hearing the Gaurasundar pastimes, what will happen? The propensity to commit sinful and the pious activities will be eradicated.
And as Parima Mataji mentioned, yes, even if we perform those pious activities, we are subjected to take birth in this cycle, this material, this samsara bhava. We are subjected to take birth because these pious and these sinful activities, they have a reactions associated to it. And to bear those reactions, we need a particular body. So we will take birth, maybe not on this earthly planet, maybe in this, anywhere in this 14 planetary systems, in any womb of the species. But we have to come back. But if we want to get rid of this cycle of samsara bhava, then what we have to do? We have to immerse ourselves in Gaura Chandra pastimes. Then what happened? We will break this cycle of Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, and we will have the eligibility to enter into Krishna's pastimes. Very nice. So the propensities will be completely eradicated, and the brightness and the supremacy of loving service, devotional service to the Lord will be firmly established in the heart, which is a karmakrit activity, means which will not bear any reactions, because anything, any service we do for Krishna, it doesn't bear any reactions. Just like Arjun, when he was fighting in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, he was doing it for Krishna. So the fighting of Arjun was a karmakrit activity, which was not bearing any kind of reactions. So then what happened? We become entitled to perform devotional service, and then Lord takes the residence in our heart. Text 143. कृष्ण यश सुनेते से कृष्ण संग पाए ईश्वर संगे तारक भूत्यागे नाय. One who hears glorification of Krishna directly associates with Krishna and is never ever separated from him. One who hears glorification of Krishna associates with Krishna. Yes, when we talk about Krishna's glorification, when we chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, when we sing Krishna's glories, when we talk about his pastimes, we are actually associating with Krishna, because Krishna's name and Krishna's form, they are identical, they are not different, they are same. Anybody knows that verse? Anybody wants to quote that verse where it says that there is no difference between Krishna's name and Krishna's pastimes and Krishna's
Nama Chintamani Krishna's Caitanya Rasavigra Purnashrato Nityamukto Abhinatva Nama Namino.
Very good. Thank you, Indulekha Mataji. Nama Chintamani Krishna Chaitanya Rasa Vigra Purna Shuddho. It's completely purified and Nitya Mukto, and everybody gets liberated by chanting Krishna's name. Why? Because abhinnatvam nam namino. There is no difference between Krishna and Krishna's name. There is a difference when we call out people of this world and their name. There are two different things. When I called out Indulekha Mataji, even if I call out so many times, Indulekha Mataji will not appear in front of me, because she is different from her body and she's different with her name. But when we call out with Krishna's name, it's one and the same thing. So we experience that bliss. Just by seeing Krishna face to face, we experience the same bliss when we call out Krishna's name, when we chant Krishna's name, when we glorify Krishna's pastimes, and when we glorify Krishna's form. We directly associate with Krishna. So we'll read the purport. By hearing glorification of Gaura Krishna, one achieves Gaura Krishna's direct association, because the topics of Krishna and the names of Krishna, they are non-different from Krishna himself. In other words, the personality of Krishna is absolute or non-dual. There is no tinge of differentiation between him and his names, as there is in this illusory world. In the transcendental topics of Gaura, there are no topics devoid of Krishna's glories. Therefore, there is no reason for one to separate Gaura Leela and Krishna Leela. They both are same, because in Gaura Leela is Krishna Leela, when Mahaprabhu developed those symptoms of Krishna Prem, call out to Krishna and inundate this entire world with Krishna Prem. So those who think that there is a difference between Krishna Leela and Chaitanya Leela are actually the offenders. Because here Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur says that there is no difference between Krishna Leela and Chaitanya Leela. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita mentions Shraddha Kaila Elila Shuna Bhakta Gana Ihara Prasade Pabe Chaitanya Charana Ihara Prasade Pabe Krishna Tattva Sara Sarva Shastra Siddhantera Iha Pabe Para. So what Chaitanya, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, what Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying? He is saying, Shraddha Kari, if there's some faith, a Leela Shuna, if we hear with the pastimes with some faith, and in the association of devotees with Bhakta Gana, then Ihara Prasade Pai Chaitanya Charana. The result of those activities will be, by the grace of the Lord, we will attain the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Ihara Prasade Pai Krishna Tattva Sara. By understanding the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we understand Krishna Tattva. We understand the real truth of Krishna. Sarva Shastra Siddhantera Iha Pabe Para. One can understand that unlimited Lord Krishna only, that is all described in the scriptures. Sarva Shastra Siddhantara. Whatever the Shastras describe the Siddhant of Krishna, the Tattva of Krishna, that limitless Krishna, that unlimited, fathomless Krishna, that knowledge can be revealed in the heart of the devotees, those who surrender unto the lotus feet of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So through Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we will be able to understand Krishna Leela. Kaviraj Goswami then further says, Chaitanya Leela Amritapur, Krishna Leela Sukarapur, Dui mile hoi sumadhurya, Dui mile hoi sumadhurya, Sadhu Gura Prasade, Tathai Aswade, Se jane madhurya prachur, se jane madhurya prachur. So what Kaviraj Goswami is saying? Chaitanya Leela is amrit, is like a nectar, is like a kheer, sweet condensed sweet rice. Chaitanya Leela is that sweet rice, is amritapur, is full of nectar. But then what is Krishna Leela? Is Sukarpur. Means when you add camphor, the edible camphor to the kheer, the sweet rice, it enhances the taste. It enhances the taste of that sweet rice. So he's saying Chaitanya Leela is like that nectar, the full pot of that sweet rice. But our Krishna Leela is like adding a camphor to that sweet rice. Dui mile, when both of them mixed, when the condensed milk, the condensed sweet rice that we have of Chaitanya Leela is mixed with the little edible camphor of Krishna Leela, Dui mile hoi sumadhur, it enhances the taste of that sweet rice. Sadhu Gura Prasade, and when by the mercy of our Guru, of our Sadhu, one can taste, Tatha e Aswade, one can taste this camphor-filled sweet rice, Sai jane madhurya prachur, and then they understand the depth of sweetness of Krishna Leela through Chaitanya Leela. Otherwise, to understand Krishna Leela, it is extremely difficult. One cannot understand Krishna Leela. Just by understanding Chaitanya Leela, we understand Krishna Leela. And that too by the mercy of our spiritual masters, by the mercy of our predecessors acharyas. Ye Leela Amritavine Khaya Yadi Annapane Tabe Bhaktera Durlabha Jivan Tabe Bhaktera Durlabha Jivan Yara Eka Bindu Pane Utphulita tanu mane, hase gaye kare nartana. Hase gaye karaya nartana. Further, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying, Ei Leela Amrita Vine, if somehow we feel that this Chaitanya Leela is not full of nectar, and we taste this Chaitanya Leela just thinking it to be an ordinary pastimes of some saint, some sage. We think that, okay, he's like an ordinary man, and he performed some leelas, yes, and we read Chaitanya Charitamrita with that bhav, with that mood. Then he's saying, Stabe bhakterela durlabha jivan. Then the life of that devotee who is reading Caitanya Bhagavat, who is reading the leelas of Mahaprabhu, is just like durlabha, like it's a durbala. Durbala means not having any strength. Even after, so when we have anna, when we have some grains, the purpose of grain is to nourish our body. But here, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is saying, this Chaitanya Leela is that super beautiful, extraordinary grain that if we eat with Shraddha, if we eat that with Shraddha, if we drink with Shraddha, we will get the nourishment of Krishna Prem. But if somebody just honor this food, thinking it to be an ordinary food, not prasadam, thinking it to be an ordinary leela of some human activity, then we will not able to get that strength of diving deep into Krishna Leela. So he's saying, Yei amrita vine, khaya yadi anna pane, tabhe bhaktara durbala jivan. But if yara eka bindu pane, then forget about eating the whole plate of grains. If somebody just take a finger dip into that Chaitanya Leela and taste it, then utphila tanu mane, then person becomes effulgent, then person becomes absorbed in that ecstasy of Krishna Prem. And then what he does, hase gaye khare nartana, then he develops those symptoms of ecstasy. Just taking a dip into that Chaitanya Leela. Not only the whole body, but eka bindu, only one drop if somebody tastes of Chaitanya Leela with faith, with Shraddha, considering that these are the pastimes of Krishna. He's non-different from Krishna. If somebody tastes Chaitanya Leela with that mood, then one will develop the ecstasy of Krishna Prem. So Kaviraj Goswami further says that how we should read this Chaitanya Leela. Shruyatam, shruyatam nityam, giyatam, giyatam muda, chintatam, chintatam bhaktas, Chaitanya charitamrita. So he says this charitra, these qualities of Krishna, of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu should be heard. Shruyatam, shruyatam nityam. He specifies 2 times, Shruyatam, Shruyatam, you have to hear with your open ears. Open ears, you have to give feast to your ears by hearing the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And just 1 time, 2 times, 1 day, 2 days, 1 year? No, Nityam, eternally you should hear these pastimes of Chaitanya Leela. Then he says, because what happened when we hear Krishna's pastimes? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime. When we hear Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, then Narottam Das Thakur says, Gauranga Madhur Leela Jar Karne Pravesh Leela. Hirdaya Nirmala Bhelothar. As soon as the pastimes, the glories of Krishna enter into the ears of devotees, and through ears when it enters into the angan, into the courtyard of the heart, then Hridaya Nirmala Bhelotar, then all the contaminations of our heart in the form of anarthas, which is Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Moh, Mad, Matsarya, they all go away. They just run away. Just like when the lion comes in the forest and he shouts and he roars, then what happened? The small animals, they just flee away. Similarly, when Mahaprabhu, when Gaura Hari in the form of golden lion roars in the heart, of our courtyard, then what happened? All the anarthas in the form of small animals, they just flee away. And our heart becomes uncontaminated. It becomes crystal clear. It becomes purified. So Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, Shruyatam, Shruyatam Nityam. Keep hearing the pastimes of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Don't ever feel complacent. Don't ever feel satisfied in hearing Krishna's name, in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's name and pastimes. And don't feel, oh, I've heard enough. No, just by hearing Mahaprabhu's pastimes, we will be able to cleanse our heart. And then what he says, okay, Shruyatam, Shruyatam, Nityam. What happens when you hear? Just keep on hearing? Then nothing? No. Then he says, Giyatam, Giyatam Muda. Just don't keep on hearing. Then what will happen if we keep on hearing? We will be very good here. We will be very good in our mind. We will remember those pastimes. But then what happened? Over the period of time, we'll keep forgetting. We'll keep forgetting those pastimes. So therefore, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, just hearing won't help. Giyatam, Giyatam, Nityam. You should also sing those glories. Whatever you have heard, share it with others. Share it with others. When you share with others, then what happens is you remember those pastimes. You go deep into those pastimes. So whatever goes in our ears will come out through our mouth. In computers also, there is a very tool, I should say, it's GIGO effect. Garbage in, garbage out. So if Mahaprabhu's pastimes in, then Mahaprabhu's pastimes should be out. You are what you eat. So when you feast your ears with Krishna's pastimes, then you should also share it with others. And how? Muda, with great happiness, as if you yourself is seeing those leelas, as if you yourself is part of those leelas. In that mood, in that ecstasy, in that happiness, you should sing also the glories of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You should call out Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's name. You should share his pastimes with others. Not only Shruyatam, but Giyatam, Giyatam Muda. And then what happens? Automatically, when you hear, when you share, then he says, Chintatyam, Chintatyam Bhaktas, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Automatically that smaran will come. Chintatyam, it's not chinta, but it's chintyam, means chintan karna, not chinta karna. It's not that you will be in anxiety, but you will be in absorption. In that chintan, you will be, because when you hear and when you share, automatically smarana flows. So when we do smaran of Krishna's of Mahaprabhu's pastimes, then Mahaprabhu will cleanse our heart and our heart will become clear and we'll have smaran of him, and then we will be eligible to enter into Krishna Leela. So in this regard, Bhaktivinoda Thakur also says, Smara Gaura Gadadhar Keli Kalam Bhava Gaura Gadadhar Pakshacharam Shunu Gaura Gadadhar Charu Katham Bhaja Godruma Kanana Kunja Vidhum. So he says, Smara Gaura Gadadhar Keli Kalam. Just focus on Gaura Gadadhar. So why he says Gaura Gadadhar? Because Gadadhar is Srimati Radharani and Gaura is Krishna. Right? So he's saying Smara Gaura Gadadhar Keli Kalam. Just remember the beautiful pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Gadadhar Prabhu. Bhava Gaura Gadadhar Pakshacharam. Be in their camp. Be loyal to Mahaprabhu. Right? Be loyal to Mahaprabhu. Become a follower of Mahaprabhu. Shunu Gaura Gadadhar Charu Katham. Charu means the sweet katha of Gaura Gadadhar. Go dive deep into those pastimes of Mahaprabhu. Bhaja Godru Makanana Kunja Vidhum. And in this way you worship Bhaja. You worship the beautiful Vidhum. Vidhum also means moon. Then you'll worship the moon of Gaudruma forest. And who is the moon of Gaudruma forest? is our Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because he appeared in Godruma Dweep. So you get so when you do smaran, and when you do smaran is important. So when you do smaran, then what will happen? You become the loyal follower of Mahaprabhu. You be on his side, be on his camp, and then you hear about his katha, and then you worship Mahaprabhu. So Srila Prabodhananda Saraswati Thakur, in his Navadvip Dhama, he says, Araditam navavanam vraje kananate, na araditam navam vanam vraja eva dure. Aradito dvijasuta vraja nagaraste, naradito dvija vijo natave Krishna. So what he says, Aradita navavanam. Navavanam refers to Navadvip, the 9 islands of Navadvip. Right? So he's saying Araditam Navadvipam. When you worship those 9 islands of Navadvip, Vraja Khananate, automatically you are worshipping Vrindavan Dham. That's what our Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur is mentioning, that there is no difference between Krishna Leela and Gaura Leela. Don't think that Gaura Leela is different from Krishna Leela. See, our Prabodhananda Saraswati is stating this fact. He is establishing the fact what Prabhupada Saraswati Thakur is mentioning. He's saying, Na araditam navavanam. Those who worship the 9 islands of Navadvip, they are actually worshipping Vrindavan Dham. There is no difference. Na araditam navavanam vraja eva dure. But if somebody who is not worshipping the 9 islands of Navadvipa, then Vraja Eva Dure. For them, Vrindavan is a far-fetched reality. They can never understand Vrindavan. Aradhito Dvijasuto Vraja Nagaraste. And those who worship this Dvija, this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Dvija Sutta, because he was the son of Jagannath Mishra, who was a Brahman. So those who worship Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who was the son of Jagannath Mishra, that person will attain what? Vrajanagar. He will attain Sri Krishna in Vrindavan. Na aradito dvijasuto. If somebody doesn't worship that Dvijasuta, that son of Jagannath Mishra, son of Chachinandan, son of Shachi Mata, Shachi Nandan, Gaurahari, those who don't worship Natavahe Krishna, for them it is very difficult to worship Krishna in Vrindavan. So if we want to enter Vrindavan Leela, if we want to enter Krishna Leela, the only path is through Chaitanya Leela. Through Chaitanya Leela, Krishna Leela will manifest in the heart. Yes, our Saraswati Thakur, he's saying that there is no reason for one to separate Gaura Leela from Krishna Leela. And we established this point that yes, there is no difference between Krishna Leela and Gaura Leela. They both are same. But we Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we following the camp, being so chaste to Mahaprabhu, think that no, Krishna Leela and Gaura Leela, the only difference is that Navadvip Dham, though it is non-different from Vrindavan, but still have some speciality, Krishna nama kare aparadhera vichara, Krishna bali lela aparadhana havikara. So Chaitanya Charitamrita says that if Krishna nam, we call out Krishna nam, but with aparadh, with offenses, then what will happen? Krishna bali le na haya vikar. There will be no transformation in the heart. It will be just a lip movement. It will not be heart deep. It will be just lip deep, as His Holiness Sachinandan Swami Maharaj always says in his Japa retreat, that we have to chant Krishna's name through our heart, not through our lips. But if we are chanting only through our lips, committing all kinds of offenses, then our heart will not be cleansed. The tears will not flow from our eyes. That melting of the heart will not happen. Bahu janma kare yadi shravana kirtana tabutana paya Krishna pade premadhana. Instead, if we keep on chanting for millions of births, but with offenses, then we will not attain the ultimate goal of chanting, that is Krishna prema, service to Lord Shri Krishna. We will not be able to attain. Why? Because we are chanting with aparad. And Krishna naam kare, aparada vichar. Krishna always takes into consideration whether we are chanting his names with offenses or without offenses. But however, Gaura Nityananda nahi esha bhavichar, naam laita prema dane bhaye ashrudhar. But our Nitai Gaur, our Gaur Nitai, they don't consider any offenses whatsoever. Whatsoever, they don't even consider any offense we commit. Rather, as soon as we call out Gauranga, Nityananda, as soon as we call out their names, then what happened? Prem Dan, they give the love of Godhead. Vahe Ashrudhar, and the devotee start developing the symptoms of Krishna Prem. Start developing that symptoms of ecstasies if they call out with the names of Gaura Nitai. So therefore, our Mahaprabhu is most merciful, is magnanimous. He is most merciful because he is simply inundating us in this Krishna Prem. Gaur Naam, Gaur Dham, Gaur Rupa Gun, Aparade Mane Nahi Tare Te Nipun. That's the beauty of Gaur Naam. That's the beauty of Gaur Dham. That's the beauty of Gaur Roop. If we glorify Krishna, God, Mahaprabhu's Roop, if we glorify Mahaprabhu's Dham, if we glorify Mahaprabhu's name, then aparadhe mane nahi, he'll not consider any offenses, but instead, rather, tarite nipun, he will liberate us from the cycle of birth and death. How beautiful is, because Gaura Nityananda, they don't consider any offense, any offense. So they are more merciful than Krishna. Okay, this is about Mahaprabhu and Chaitanya and Krishna Leela. That they are non-different, but yes, we saw that how when we have to go into Krishna Leela, the only pathway available is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, diving deep into Mahaprabhu's Leela. Now someone can say, well, I can read, why I have to go only through Chaitanya Charitamrita or Chaitanya Bhagavata or Chaitanya Leela. I can read Bhagavatam also. I can read Bhagavatam, I can understand Bhagavatam. There are so many devotees who have written the commentaries on Srimad Bhagavatam. So why not just have taste for Srimad Bhagavatam? And then our Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami says, you will not get the taste of Srimad Bhagavatam also if you don't have the taste for Chaitanya Charitamrita. So even Srimad Bhagavatam, the aspects of Srimad Bhagavatam can be revealed only when we understand Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yes, Prabhupada said that Bhagavatam is actually the postgraduate, the graduate study, but our Chaitanya Charitamrita is the postgraduate study. So we have to read Bhagavatam before we go into Chaitanya Charitamrita. But at the same time, the hidden aspects of Bhagavatam will not be revealed to us unless and until we understand Chaitanya Charitamrita. So it's through Chaitanya Leela, the Bhagavatam will reveal us. Otherwise, it is very difficult to understand the hidden concepts of Srimad Bhagavatam. That's why Swarup Damodar Goswami says, Jai Bhagavata Pada Vaishnavasthani. Go and read Srimad Bhagavatam in the association of devotees. And then Ekant Ashray Kare Chaitanya Charan. Take shelter of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Go and read Bhagavatam with the devotees who follow Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Then the aspects of Bhagavatam will reveal itself to us. Chaitanya re bhakta gana nitya kara sanga tabi te jani be siddhanta samudra taranga. If we associate with the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, if we associate those who have love for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, those who have love for the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when we associate with them, tabi te jani be siddhanta samudra taranga. Is that because this entire Siddhant of Krishna, the entire philosophy of understanding Krishna as the supreme absolute truth is just like a big ocean and there are tsunami waves are coming in that. So what will happen? If we don't associate with the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we will not be able to understand those waves. We will not be able to swim across those waves. So if we want to understand those waves of ocean of Krishna Leela, we have to associate with the devotees of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, those who have love for Mahaprabhu. So in this regard, I was also thinking to share one song before we move forward. So this is a very beautiful song on Chaitanya Leela. Okay, Sukhakar Krishna Prabhu, you have raised your hands. Do you have any question in this regard?
Just shared that we said Bhagavad Gita, it's teaching us how to live our life, and Srimad Bhagavatam is teaching how to leave this world, and Mahaprabhu is teaching how to love. Live and love. I want to share, Mataji.
Very good. Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for sharing. Yes. So we will.
Sorry for interrupting.
No worries, Prabhu. Thank you. So here, this is a very beautiful song by Narottam Das Thakur, and we will see this song. Beautiful song. Gaurangera dviti pada jaradhana sampada sei jane bhakati rasasar sei jane bhakati rasasar Gaurange madhurya leela jar karne praveshila hridaya nirmala bhelota hridaya nirmala bhelota. So he's saying Gauranga Dviti Pada. If we take shelter of Gauranga Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, Dvipada, Jara Dhana Sampada, and consider that these lotus feet of Mahaprabhu is my only wealth, my only treasure, then Sajane Bhakati Rasasar, then that person will able to understand the essence of devotional service. If you want to know the essence of devotional service, you have to hold on to the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu, and you have to think that this lotus feet is my only wealth. I have no other shelter, no other shelter, no other shelter. The only shelter I have is to hold on to the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu. Only then the ecstasy, the essence of devotional service will be revealed to me. Why? Because he says Gauranga Madhur Leela, when this Madhur Leela of Mahaprabhu enters into our ears, and through our ears, when it enters into the courtyard of our heart, then our heart becomes free of contamination. Je Gaurangera Namalo Tara Hoy Premodoy Tare Mui Jaya Bolihari Taramui Jai Bolihari. Jai Gauranga Namle, those who will sing the call out to the names of Mahaprabhu, their hriday, their heart, Tara Hoy Premodoy, the Krishna consciousness, that love of Godhead will sprout, will be awakened in their heart as soon as they'll call out to the names of Mahaprabhu. That's why our dear Srila Prabhupada will always say, when you chant Krishna's name, before that, call out the names of Panchatattva, because that way your heart will become pure and Krishna will take residence in your heart. Gauranga Gunete Jhure, he is saying those who cry. Jhure means the tears when they flow from the eyes. When we sing the guna, the qualities of Mahaprabhu, and while talking about the qualities of Mahaprabhu, if somehow the tear flows out from our eyes, Nitya Leela Tarespure, then Mahaprabhu's and Krishna's pastime will automatically manifest in our heart. The only thing is we have to cry out for Krishna. Cry out for Krishna just like a child cries out for his mother. And Gaur Govind Swami used to say that if you cannot cry out for Krishna while chanting Krishna's name, then cry because you are not able to cry. Se jane bhakate adhikari, and that person will become eligible for bhakti. Adhikar mil jata hai usko. He'll become eligible to perform bhakti, but he has to cry out for Krishna. Cry out when we call out the name of Mahaprabhu. Gauranga Sangi Gane Nitya Siddha Kari Mane Se Jai Brajendra Sutapas Se Jai Brajendra Sutapas Shri Gaura Mandala Bhumi Jeva Jane Chintamani Tara Hoye Braj Bhumi Bhas Tara Hoye Braj Bhumi Bhas. So Narottam Das Thakur is saying, Gauranga Sangi Gane, if we associate with the associates of Mahaprabhu, or those who have love for Mahaprabhu, if we associate with them, then he says, Say Jai Brajendra Sutapas, then we automatically will get Krishna. We will be able to become the associate in Krishna Leela. So when we have taste for Mahaprabhu's Leela, when we associate with Mahaprabhu's devotees and consider that those devotees are Nitya Siddha devotees, then what happened? We get the eligibility to enter into Krishna's pastimes. We get the eligibility to participate in Krishna's pastime, to become his, intimate devotees. Shri Gaura Mandala Bhumi Jebe Jane Chintamani. And those who understand that this Gaura Mandal is non-different from Vrindavan Dham. Just like Vrindavan Ramya Sthana Divya Chintamani Dhama. Those who understand that this Vrindavan Dham is Chintamani Dham, but also understand that this Gauramandal Bhumi is also Chintamani Bhumi, then Tara Hoy Braj Bhumi Bas, then automatically that devotee is residing in Vrindavan Dham. So understanding Mahaprabhu's Mandal, Mahaprabhu's Navadvip Dham also as Chintamani Dham, then we are in Vrindavan Dham. We are automatically in Vrindavan Dham. Gaura Prema Rasarnave Seta Ranga Jai Dube Se Radha Madhava Antaranga Se Radha Madhava Antaranga. He say Gaura Prema Rasarnave. Arnava means the ocean. So Gaura Prem, the Prem of Mahaprabhu, is full of rasas. Yesterday we saw that how Mahaprabhu was calling out to Krishna, sometimes in Dasya Bhav, sometimes in Madhurya Bhav, sometimes in Sakhya Bhav, sometimes in Vatsalya Bhav. Why? Because his Bhav are full of mellows. It's an ocean of mellows. And those who dive deep into it, Jeba Dube, those who not just swim, but go deep into, drown themselves into this Chaitanya Leela, say Radha Madhavantaranga, they get the eligibility to participate in Radha Madhav's pastime. The intimate pastimes means the Manjari Bhav. We'll get the position of serving the Manjaris, who are the intimate associates of Radha and Krishna. So that's what he's saying, that Gaura Prema Rasarnave, se Taranga Jade Dube, say Radha Madhavantaranga. Griha Bhava Nete Thake, Ha Gauranga Bole Dake, Narotama Mage Tarasanga, Narotama Mage Tarasanga. So Narottam Das Thakur is saying, Vane grihe thake, vane thake. Whether you are in a sannyasi, a renounced order of life, whether you are in a vanaprastha order of life, or you are in griha thake, whether you are in a householder life, vana thake, griha thake, no matter whatever your situation is, whatever your circumstances is, Ha Gauranga Bole Dake, just call out the name of Gauranga. Gauranga, just call out the name of Gauranga with full faith, with full conviction, with full love. Call out this name of Gauranga. Then he's saying, Narottama Mange Tara Sangha. Me, Narottam Das Thakur, really want to have your association, those who call out the name of Gauranga Mahaprabhu. So therefore, he says we'll go back to our Vrindavan Das Thakur's Caitanya Bhagavat, where he says, yes, there is no difference between Gaura Leela and Krishna Leela, but we have to understand that if we want entrance into Krishna Leela, we have to follow the path of Gaura Leela. Text 144. Antaryami Nityananda Balila Kautuke Chaitanya Charitra Kichu Likhete Pustake. Now Vrindavan Das Thakur is taking the humblest position and he's saying, Nityananda has inspired me within my heart to describe some of these pastimes that I have described in this pustak, in this book. Tahana kripaya likhi chaitanya katha swatantra haite shakti nahi ka sarvatha. He's saying that it's only by the mercy that I am able to write these narrations of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, for I have no independence whatsoever. So whose mercy is talking about? He is talking about the mercy of his spiritual master, Nityananda Prabhu. So he's saying it's only because of Nityananda Prabhu's mercy that I am able to write all these narrations. Otherwise, I have no independence whatsoever. Last verse. Kasthera putaliyena kuhake nachaye e mata gaura chandra murahe bulai. So Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying that I am not writing this book. These are the dictations given to me by Mahaprabhu himself on the mercy of my spiritual master, Lord Nityananda Prabhu. It's only by his direction that I am able to write this Adi Khanda of Caitanya Bhagavat. Why? Because I'm just a Kasthera Putli. I'm just a wooden puppet in the hand of Gaura Sundar, who is the puppeteer. Yes, he is the puppeteer and we are just the puppets. Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying, I'm just a puppet. And those who have attended today's session by His Grace Chaitanya Charan Prabhu can know what the word puppet means. Very beautifully he described that puppet doesn't mean that we have no endeavor from our own side. Puppet doesn't mean that we lose our free will, but puppet means that we surrender our free will to the supreme will of Lord Shri Krishna. That is what the meaning of puppet is. When some reversals comes in our life, we think that I have nothing to do. I have nothing to say about it. I accept it, but at the same time, I just don't give up, but I act on courage. I act with courage on those reversals that comes in my life. So here also he's saying that I'm just a puppet and you are the puppeteer. Make me dance, make me dance, make me dance as you like. Just like Srila Prabhupada in his Markina Dharma writes, Kasthera puthali jatha nachao se mate nachao nachao Prabhu nachao se mate. Yes, please make me dance, make me dance, make me dance. Puppet means that make me an instrument in your supreme sweet will. Make me an instrument. Though the way you want me, please let that be happen through me. Make me an instrument. Now, puppet doesn't mean that I just give up everything. I put no endeavor from my side, no sadhana from my side, and I just say that I'm the puppet. No, that's not the meaning of puppet. Puppet is surrendering our free will to the Supreme Lord's free will. To the Supreme Lord's supreme will, surrendering our free will unto him. That is what the puppet is. And morning also Caitanya Charan Prabhu, His Grace Caitanya Charan Prabhu was mentioning and giving the example of our dear most Srila Prabhupada, who came to West in the mood of being a puppet in the hands of the puppeteer Krishna. But then he didn't stop working. He acted on all those circumstances that were coming in front of him with courage, and he was performing all those activities. So that means he was surrendering his free will. Whatever little independence is given to us from Krishna, we surrender that also with Krishna's supreme sweet will. So here also Vrindavan Das Thakur is saying that I am just a puppet who is dancing only on the direction of the puppeteer. And that's why I was able to write this entire Adi Khanda of Caitanya Bhagavta. So we'll stop here. Thank you all so much Thank you for all your association. So in summarization, I'll just say a few lines that what we talked about Mahaprabhu's stay at Gaya after hearing the celestial voice by the demigods. And he said, okay, I'll not go. But then he started depicting those symptoms of ecstasy from separation of Krishna. And then after staying few days in Gaya, then Mahaprabhu went to Navadvip. And there he started distributing this love of Godhead to everybody. And then we saw that how Krishna Leela and Chaitanya Leela, they are non-different. They are same. But because we are Gaudiya Vaishnavas, because we follow and loyal to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are in his camp, we consider Chaitanya Leela to be most merciful than Krishna Leela. And through Chaitanya Leela only, we'll have the entrance of Krishna Leela. And then last part of the presentation, we saw that how Vrindavan Das Thakur is taking that humblest position and saying that I am just a puppet in the hands of the puppeteer of Lord Gaurasundara by the mercy of Lord Nityananda that I was able to write this Adi Khanda of Caitanya Bhagavat. And now we will go forward into the Madhya Khanda. So thank you all so much. We'll stop here. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Vrindavan Das Thakur ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Bhagavat ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. What an amazing class. What an amazing class. When a person who's giving class is telling everyone that we should relish Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Leela, we have to relish what is given to us. And when they themselves are not relishing it, it doesn't have a good impact. But in this case, you were relishing it so much from beginning to end. Just your mood was rubbing on to us. So whether we really have any taste or not, I felt the taste would get awakened if we just hear to you. So that's how it was. And such amazing points. I was just getting pulled into how you were describing Chaitanya Leela so beautifully, singing bhajans in between, quoting verses of the sweetness of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu from all places non-stop. And you were relishing them. So in turn, you made us also relish Chaitanya Leela so nicely. And I'm so glad these last few verses towards the end of Harikanda was spoken by you, because it then sets our mood to delve into Madhya Khanda. And then besides that, I also like the sweet rice example. It was very beautiful. Sweet rice camphor example, definitely. Yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Krishna Leela, when they mix, it's so beautiful. But your point that for us to relish Srimad Bhagavatam to that extent, first we should really read Chaitanya Charitamrita. That makes so much sense, Mataji. Yes, first we read Srimad Bhagavatam at least once or twice, and then we go to Chaitanya Leela to understand anything about Chaitanya Leela. But then after we read Chaitanya Leela and come back to Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavatam opens up something totally different. Everything in Srimad Bhagavatam is seen with a different lens. So I totally agree with you. And such a nice class, Mataji. You were relishing Chaitanya Leela. That's the reason we were able to capture at least a fragment of what you were expressing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Power packed class as always. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Priti Vilasni Mataji, for the opportunity. But I confess that I was nowhere close to Chaitanya Leela. I was not able to relish, but I wish that one day, with all of your blessings, those who are on the call, with all your blessings, one day we'll get an iota of love of Chaitanya Leela. So really, I'm taking shelter of all of your lotus feet, that by your blessings, one day definitely I'll able to enter Chaitanya Leela. But right now it's just all superficial. Whatever heard, whatever, read is whatever came out from my mouth. Thank you so much. Yes, Anita Mataji, please go ahead.
Hare Krishna. Am I audible, Mataji? Can you hear me?
Clearly, I can hear you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, can you hear me now, Mataji?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Thank you so much, Mataji. As Priti Lasmi Mataji said, such a deep class. And she, Mataji is saying that you have so much how in reciting this Chaitanya Charitamrita. And the same way, even Mataji or class also was like yesterday. It's so really very nice, relishing. You both are really so good, Mataji, in giving Bhagavad class and whatever classes you take upon. And Mataji, I have a question that we usually, there is a saying that we have to finish Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and then go to Chaitanya Charitamrita, and then Chaitanya Bhagavatam. So my question is like finishing Bhagavatam itself will take some few years, right? So in between, we can start Charitamrita also, Mataji.
Yes, definitely. You can start Chaitanya Charitamrita. And how can I say that? What is a praman? Our dear Srila Prabhupada. He also stopped the translation of the entire Bhagavatam at the 10th canto, and he jumped into Chaitanya Charitamrita because he thought that there are so many commentaries written by so many devotees on Bhagavatam. So anyways, the commentaries, a message of Bhagavatam will reach the people's ears, but I have to write the English commentary of Chaitanya Charitamrita so that this should not be left out, so that the Westerners who are longing for those English language, I should try to complete it and give this Chaitanya Charitamrita to the entire world. So yes, it's important to first to read Bhagavatam first. Definitely understanding of Bhagavatam, as Preeti Mataji was saying, will come later when we will read Chaitanya Charitamrita. But because we all are Kali Yuga rejects, we all are Kali Yuga jivas, we have a very short lifespan. So we can simultaneously start Chaitanya Charitamrita and Chaitanya Bhagavat. There is no harm.
Thank you so much.
Because when we will enter, it will cleanse ourselves. It will cleanse our heart so that the Bhagavatam can be understood properly. Yes.
That's really very nice explanation, Mataji. I didn't get this point that Srila Prabhupada stopped writing Bhagavatam and started Chaitanya Charitamrita. Thank you for sharing that. And one more thing is, Mataji, while chanting, you were saying that if we take Krishna's name, there is offense. And when we are chanting with Gauranga's name, like in the starting, we say Gauranga's name, right? So, and then we start the chanting. So, and the explanation which you gave for that was really so awesome, Mataji. I have never heard about that, about this much so deep explanation for this. Thank you so much for giving that, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much. Yes, Sukhakar Prabhu, you are so enthusiastic.
Thank you. Very nice session, Mataji, and we are enlightened with all your thing. Mataji.
The video.
I think there is some network issue with Sukhakar Krishna Prabhuji's Mataji.
No network issue. Mataji started, I stopped.
Oh, okay.
Since Mataji started, I stopped.
Okay. Sorry, sir. If you want to talk, I will. I'll talk later.
Always ladies first. Mataji's first.
Oh, thank you. That's the as a neophyte devotee, Mataji, kindly tell me. See this. You have explained of this Chaitanya Bhagavatam, Mataji. Chaitanya Charitamrita and this thing I cannot follow. Which to read first? I don't know, Mataji. That kindly explain, Mataji. Then you're reading the Chaitanya Bhagavat. I am having some class in Chaitanya Charitamrita also, Mataji. I am following the Chaitanya Charitamrita. Madhya Khanda we are coming, Mataji. That's why I'm listening 1 hour in the afternoon. And that's why I want to see the Chaitanya Bhagavat also. I'm listening only. I am having this is different and that is also different, Mataji. But both are nectaries to the ears, Mataji. That I am having that book, that Chaitanya Charitamrita one set book I'm having. This I'm not having. If I am having that book, I can read along with the book. Let's say we can get it in the ISKCON centers, Mataji, this book and all.
Yes, Mataji. So your first question is that is there any difference? In one sense, there is no difference in Chaitanya Bhagavat and Chaitanya Charitamrita. So Chaitanya Bhagavat was written previously by Vrindavan Das Thakur. So this was the first book that was written. And then Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami wrote Caitanya Charitamrita. So in Caitanya Charitamrita, he mentions that on whatever points Vrindavan Das Thakur has narrated in Caitanya Bhagavat, I will not touch upon that. So that's why we see the Balya Leela, the childhood pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, is extensively described in Chaitanya Bhagavat, but is not described in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Whereas Vrindavan Das Thakur doesn't describe the Antya Leela pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in Chaitanya Bhagavat, which was in detail explained by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami in Chaitanya Charitamrita. They both complement each other. These books complement. But then, as you said, which one to read first? So my humble suggestion will be to go to Chaitanya Charitamrita first. Because Chaitanya Charitamrita is very sweet, and our dear Srila Prabhupada has personally taken out time to write commentaries, English commentary on Chaitanya Charitamrita. So please read Chaitanya Charitamrita. And also, since you are joining the call, you can hear Chaitanya Bhagavat every day as you are joining the call. There is no harm because these two books complement each other. These are the books. It is the 9-volume book, if you can see. And you can, of course, in ISKCON, you can get it, but you have to subscribe it. So this is a 7-volume book, sorry. 9-volume is Chaitanya Charitamrita. This is a 7-volume book, and it also has 3 parts, that is Adi Khanda, Madhya Khanda, and Antya Khanda. Just like Adi Leela, Madhya Leela, Antya Leela. That's the only difference.
Thank you, Mataji. Dandatma Mataji. Thank you so much.
Yes, so Kakar Prabhu, please go ahead.
Mataji, your class was so wonderful. I think we showed a video, the whole film you have shown now, everything. But when you hear it, I'm able to see inside. It was just shown as a video. The whole Mahaprabhu came in front of me and everything was shown so wonderful. And you told that Chaitanya Leela, the Krishna Leela will never end without Chaitanya Leela. So actually, I just want to share one thing. Once Radharani came after 100 years to see Lord Krishna, she came to Kurukshetra and she came with the gopis and all. And she asked Mahaprabhu she told Krishna that you came and spent only 11 years with us in Mathura, and then you in Vrindavan, and you went to Mathura, and then you went to Dwaraka, and you had got 16,108 wives. So I'm very, very happy that there is somebody to take care of you. I'm only bothered about you, and I'm very happy. But I'm very sad that the gopis are still crying in Vrindavan, and you left them. So I'm cursing you that you have to come to the material world, and you should pay back that whatever they're crying, you should cry and understand what is the separation. So Krishna said, I'm ready to accept it, provided you come with me. And rather than I will come. So there is one katha like that also, that so Chaitanya Leela, Krishna Leela ends where Chaitanya Leela begins. It's a mixing. This I want to share. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Sukhakar Prabhu. Thank you for sharing. I haven't heard this pastime where Radharani is cursing Krishna to become Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and to feel that separation. But I've heard the other side of the story by His Holiness Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, where he says that after Krishna Leela, when Krishna went back to his eternal abode, at that time Krishna thought, I have so much debt to pay. I have become indebted to the love of Srimati Radharani and gopis, and I am unable to pay the debt. And the only way is when I also go into her shoes, walk into her shoes, and call out to the name of Krishna. So Krishna told Srimati Radharani that now I will go and I will feel the same separation, the pain of separation that you felt. And Srimati Radharani said, no, you cannot do that. And very sweetly, Jayapataka Swami Maharaj, His Holiness, my dandavats to him, he was explaining that Radharani became so empathetic with Krishna, and she said, no, you cannot do it because you have not experienced it. So how will you do it? Forget about the debt. I excuse you. I forgive you for everything, but just don't go because you'll not be able to bear the pain of separation. But Krishna was so adamant. He said, yes, I cannot pay the debt, but let me go. Let me go once and experience that separation that you felt when I left you in Vrindavan. Then Srimati Radharani said, if you are really want to go, that I let you go only on one condition, that you take my form also with you. Because as Krishna, Antar Krishna, Bahir Gaura, because you will be inside Krishna, inside you will be Krishna, but outside your body will be covered by my Dviti, by my effulgence, so that whenever it gets rubbed with the stones, with the pains of separation, then I will be able to bear, because I am experienced. I have bear those pains in Vrindavan Leela. So I know how to bear that. You don't know. So please have my covering onto you, so that I can protect you from all those pains from separation of Krishna. So in this way, Krishna agreed that, okay, you come as a covering, I'll take you as a covering, as your Dviti, as your effulgence. At the same time, I'll take your mood also, and I'll take avatar as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and feel the same separation from Krishna as you felt when I left you in Vrindavan. So very sweetly Maharaj was describing, and it really, the tears flowed from my eyes, that thinking that how Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is so merciful. He is teaching us. Krishna taught Sarvdharman Parityaja Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. He just said those words, go and surrender unto me, Mam Ekam. But how to do it? How to do it? Who is going to teach us? It's Krishna himself who is coming as in the form of a devotee, taking our hands and helping us to write A, B, C, teaching us the ABC of devotional service, that this is how you surrender. This is how you surrender. And even after that, if we are not able to write, then we are the most dull-headed students. That after Mahaprabhu also, if we are not taking this life seriously and we are not able to write those ABC, whenever Mahaprabhu is holding our hand and explaining us that this is the process to follow devotional service. So we should be very grateful, very, very grateful that we have come in this age where Mahaprabhu is just 500 years before he came, just 500 years ago. Down the line, when millions of years of Kali Yuga will pass, people will think that we are of the same age of Mahaprabhu, because it's just the matter of 500 years that Mahaprabhu came and gave this. And after that, Srila Prabhupada, who is a Senapati Bhakta, commander-in-chief of Mahaprabhu's mission, Mahaprabhu's army, has come and has literally explained us each and everything by bearing everything. Yes, he himself bear all those pains, all those sufferings, and taught us that this is how you have to walk your talk. So very, very grateful to our eternal Savior, Srila Prabhupada, and of course his disciples who are taking us onto the ship of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Thank you so much, Sukara Krishna Prabhu. Thank you for your
Mataji, actually, this I heard from Amalendra Prabhu's lecture, and Adi Gadadhar was there on the lecture. 15 CDs I got.
Maybe
I about Gaura Katha.
Yeah, maybe I missed Prabhuji, but what I heard from His Holiness, I share.
No, this also I heard. My Guru Maharaj has spoken, but this I was remembering that she has told that you have to come, and he accepted it immediately, and he said, "Because ye yatama prapadyante tam tatheva bhajamyam," that he could not keep up. So to reciprocate that, he had come. And actually, Gauranga Mahaprabhu, I love him so much that, I see everywhere him, because Krishna told, Naam, Maam Ekam Chandra Bhaja, but Mahaprabhu told, Naam Ekam Chandra Bhaja. No need of Maam,
Naam Ekam.
So I like your class so much. I don't want to miss all the, I think evening I want to be a book completely. I don't want to do anything, because this Gaur Leela is something for the Kali Yuga everybody needs. Nothing else can do.
Thank you.
And there's all the Dasavatar is there in Mahaprabhu. He has manifested all the things. Narasimhas and Gaura Narasimha and Buddha, because he didn't kill anybody. He just saved everybody. And Parashurama, he bloodshed, he did tears shed. He brought tears in everybody's eyes. So Mahaprabhu is really great, and we had to just catch him, and then there's nothing to worry. Gaur Nita is the only thing.
Yeah. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Anyone else has anything to add?
Hare Krishna, Kirtida Sundari Mataji, Dandavat Pranam, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you so much, Mataji, for such a beautiful class. Very nice class, Mataji. I was thinking of one point, but somehow I forgot what I have to say in between of all devotees' realizations. But very, very, very beautiful class, Mataji. Hope I get that point. Otherwise, I'll share you in the text, Mataji. But such a beautiful class. I wanted to get that point. It is not coming. Okay. Anyway, I would like to offer my obeisances. If there is no other questions, I would like to offer my obeisances. And thank you so much, Mataji, for such a beautiful class. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyev cha patitanam Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Koti Vaishnav Vrind ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Her Grace Kirtida Sundari Mataji ki jai. Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Everybody can chant one time. Gauranga!
Gauranga! Gauranga! Jai Gauranga! Jai Gauranga!
In Dallas, we chanted it many times, Mataji, with Guru Maharaj. Gauranga, Gauranga. Whole park was shaking with Gauranga. Thank you, Mataji, for making us chant Gauranga. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you for joining in. We'll close the call.